that means the guy to my right is on the air with me, Shane Matthews. He's checking out something on Monday Night Football. Back to him in just a moment. We will come back and we'll talk about tonight a very interesting program because it's going to deal with some unhappiness and some things that are allegedly going on in Gainesville. Look, this is a very dangerous time to speculate, but I do know some things are happening, and we'll give a Shane on that in just a minute. As I said in my tease, we have a really good report out of somebody who was sitting near the father of DJ Lagway during the game, and he was very unhappy and uneasy about something. And I don't know what, don't want to speculate, but it obviously is just concerning. And there's a lot going on. We heard today about the boot, which is on the leg of the beleaguered quarterback who can't seem to get a break. But worse yet, they've lost another game, and it was a heartbreaking loss because it was a winnable game. They showed up in the third quarter with the defense. We'll break all that down with Shane. And quite frankly, let's get it out of our way and move on. This is open date week. There are things to talk about, but certainly it's not a good place to be with the Florida Gators right now. We're waiting for the other shoe to fall. Everybody's got their list, their wish list. I'm hearing numbers that are being thrown around by some pretty reliable people of the next coach if he's the right person. And it's time for a change. I don't know all the particulars of what, when, how, where. I don't think anybody does. But it is certainly something that is of concern and it will be dealt with. When, I don't know. Could be this week, could be, who knows? We're like the rest of you in the dark. Meanwhile, the Buddy Martin Show is on the air. Come and join us. Give us your opinion.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye!
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Evening, welcome to Melvin Law Monday. I'm Buddy Martin. The program is the Buddy Martin Show. It's time to talk about football again, college football, SEC football, specifically those Florida Gators. Oh my, those Florida Gators. I'm sure you're all still grieving about a game that could have been different. What did you think when suddenly the defense showed up in the third quarter and it became a different game? I listened to Shane on the broadcast most of the night when I could. It was like two different games. I mean, what was it, 25 yards the first half in total offense? I don't know, it was a total of maybe net 5, and they couldn't do anything. It was awful. The execution, the play calling, and Miami's defense was all over everything. And quite frankly, I thought it could have been 100-0, Shane, the way it was going.
Yeah, Miami basically played to their head coach's philosophy. That's not a normal what Shannon Dawson, their offensive coordinator, that's not a game he normally calls. They just basically said, we're going to line up and pound you. You know, neither team, buddy, threw a ball over 25 yards the entire night. Neither team.
Well, wasn't a whole lot of offense there. Shane, when they came out and halfway through the third quarter, suddenly there was a fire lit under the bellies of the defense who played really, really good. Hats off to those guys. They did. They really shone. And the Cormani McLean interception was what a talent he is, man. some good things happen. And I got to give credit to the guys 3 down on defense on their front 7. And they kept battling and battling. I got to, but you know what? Shane, as good as that was, I wasn't good enough to win. Although at one point it was 13-7, a completely different game. And I thought, well, could this be happening? What were you thinking?
Well, we had opportunity there, getting the ball back down 13-7 to make a drive and either kick a field goal or score a touchdown, take the lead. I mean, it was amazing that we even had that opportunity because Miami dominated the football game. They controlled the line of scrimmages. That's what I was very concerned about going into the game. Again, I was shocked that they didn't throw the ball more, but I feel like Mario said, you know what? We can dominate the trenches. We're going to hand it off about every play. And that's kind of what they did.
And dominate they did. I mean, they physically, as someone said to me, they closed the program. I'm disappointed. I heard about all the muscle we gained and, you know, and fat we lost. And we get it again. Miami just pushed us over the field. And they did. Those running backs look like, look like Jimmy Brown. They were massive. They were making 8, 9, 10 yards a chunk. And I don't know, are they that much stronger? Obviously they are, Shane.
Not necessarily. They got some really good running backs. I mean, very talented guys that are powerful. We have some strong guys. Their guys may not be very strong in the weight room, but they're strong in football. That's all that matters. You know, we talk about all this stuff in the summer about what a guy bench presses, what he squats, all that. None of that matters. It's how strong you are on the field of play. Miami had the plan that they stuck to, and it was a good plan for them. Wasn't real exciting, but they did what they had to do.
Well, it's country strong is what you're talking about when you have it without going to the weight room. But these guys were really strong. I remember.
Well, they may be real strong in the weight room. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Right, I got you.
I've seen guys that are extremely strong in the weight room and can't play a lick of football.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so here we are. You have been saying Miami could be the best team in the country on your show several times. You said it, maybe on this show. They are number 2 today. Number 2 in the AP poll, and will be number 2 probably in all the polls. And now we get the news. DJ Lagway's in a boot. Nursing some soreness in the foot. He sustained against Miami. And they said Lagway was on a boot. And the source told, I guess it was, I want to give him credit, Gators Online, just precautionary. He got his foot stepped on. He felt some soreness. I don't know. Seems to be a lot of boots lately. And now we look at this season, and we know they got an open date. We're going to wait and see if the shoe is going to fall, the other shoe is going to fall. And now this is the bad news. The combined record of the Gators' remaining opponents, I read today, I'm assuming this is correct, is 25-3. It's going to be hard to find more than 3 or 4 wins in that, Shane. It looks a whole lot like a different season for Florida. Well,
we knew that there was a lot of good teams out there. When you play in the SEC, there's a lot of good players. And, I said this on my show today. We think we have a good receiving core, but there's probably 3 or 4 in the SEC that's better than ours. I think we're really missing Badger and DK, the way they ran routes. They got separation. They knew how the little nuances of getting open and catching the ball in traffic. Maybe these kids will come around eventually, but there's a lot that goes into it. And look, we're not a very good football team right now. I think our defense has played their tails off. I still don't think we're very good defensively. When we have a team, I think Miami right now, they're probably the best team that we've played. I think we're going to play better teams moving forward because I'm going off what I saw. Miami's not going to go deep in the playoffs if they can't throw the football. And I've seen them throw it. I don't know why they didn't throw it. I'm glad they didn't throw it against us. But we're done with Miami. I don't give a damn what happens to them the rest of the year.
Well, it's time to turn the page on that. It was disheartening, especially when they played so well on defense. Well, they in the third quarter. Carmani McLean just got back on the team and started highest graded player versus Miami. So and he obviously played well. I don't know what they got left out there, but I mean, they need this week off and then some, and we need to see where things are going. Here's the threatening thought. I mean, when you start talking about what could happen, and I wrote this in my pre-seed or my tease. I'm not saying this is going to happen, so don't panic and don't get mad at me about it. I'm talking about legally and what could take place in the world of negotiations and things these days and the way the rules are. Situation landscape has changed. If you so decided and you were in the corner of DJ Lagway, what would you tell him to do? Florida's likely going to have a different coach this year, not his guy. He's going to have to learn a little bit of a new offense, probably. Yet he could legally opt out after right now and redshirt this year and have 3 full seasons left to go somewhere. Now, that's he's saying he could. Will he? I don't know. It didn't seem like it, but, things can change. And when I hear things, reports about his parents, his dad being really upset, etc., I don't know what all goes into that. We know the offense is not going well. He's not playing well. I will say one thing. He stood up after the game and said, this has got to stop. And it starts with me. It's my fault. And he says, I was checking it down, giving what they took, what they gave me, taking what they gave me, and I couldn't execute. He took the blame. He was a man. I got to say, more than his coach did. I never did hear Billy say anything about what a poor job of coaching they did, which they did. So this kid's got it all, but it may not be his time and place. I sure hope so, because I like him a lot. I don't know what your tentacles are out there, what you're hearing, or what you think about all that, Shane, but give me your take.
Oh, I've heard nothing. I look, in today's world, nothing would surprise me. I said on my show today and on Steve Russell's show, I think Gator fans have blinders on when it comes to their team and their players. There's a lot of good players out there in America. You can look around all of college football. There's really good quarterbacks across the country. And I don't think people need to worry about if DJ redshirts, if he plays, if he goes in the transfer portal, new coach comes in. I would not worry about any of that, because there are a lot of quarterbacks. There are a lot of receivers. There are a lot of these, this, that, and the other that you can bring in to build your team. And that's just my personal feeling. I watch college football all around America. And we're just talking about quarterback play. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. There are transfers that would want to transfer to another school. So I wouldn't worry about any of that. Whatever they decide to do, that's their decision. They're being paid a lot of money. And we'll just have to wait and see.
Tramel Jones' name came up because of the injury, and some people are speculating that he may be the starting quarterback against Texas. I would like to see him play some. I don't subscribe to Billy's theory. I know you do, that you just play one quarterback all the time.
I never said that.
Well, I know you did say I think you said you didn't.
No, I think like Coach Spurrier, Tramel deserves to play, because I think you owe it to your team, right? We've benched and we've rotated right tackles the last 3 games. But that's Coach Napier's philosophy, and you have to go with it. But
I didn't mean it that way. I'm not saying. I'm saying I'm a believer in giving the other guy a series once in a while, and I know some aren't. And Billy said he didn't believe that. Didn't believe in playing more than one. He came out and said it. Didn't believe that. I got a call.
Right, that's his philosophy.
Yeah, I got a call from a really good friend of mine from Colorado. First of all, he's an astute football guy. Secondly, he loves Texas quarterbacks. He's from Texas. and he loves the fact that Lagway is a Texas quarterback. And he called me, and halfway through the game, and Joe knows I never talk during the games. I don't have time. I don't like to talk about it. And he said, doesn't Florida have any other quarterbacks? And I said, yes, they do, but no, they aren't going to play him. There's a guy named Tramel Jones we kind of like what we see of him. I'm not saying they should have put him in at that point. I don't think he'd do well in this situation. But I said, Billy doesn't believe in playing in that system. But what, am I wrong? That's what he said. He didn't believe in that.
No, I mean that's what Billy has said that multiple times. So it is what it is. I mean, I would have played Tramel in the South Florida game and this game.
Yes, I agree. We agree on it. I misunderstood.
And the LSU game.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't figure out what is with DJ. Obviously, he's hurt. He made some really piss poor throws and some bad decisions. And like you said, I watched the replay a while ago of a guy doing a breakdown. There are a lot of times receivers just didn't get open.
There's a combination of a lot of stuff. I mean, we're not blocking. First of all, we're not blocking anybody right now in the run game or the pass game. The offensive line probably is the biggest disappointment up to this point, but still a lot of football to be played. We'll see what happens.
And we're going to have Steve Russell on here a little bit. We're going to talk about candidates for the job. It's a little premature for that because the coach is Billy Napier right now. But everybody's got a list. There are rumblings. There is some activity going on with the money people. I know for a fact. They're making noises about paying a lot of money. I'll tell you about a little bit about that later on. But let's just do a couple of things on the news outside football. Bruce Pearl stepping down. Surprised you?
Yeah, especially when the day of when practice starts. Pretty bizarre.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. There was a rumor going around at first, again, all these rumors that he was going to run for Tommy Tuberville's seat, who's going to run for governor. And he's a senator, and that rumor turned out not to be true, according to Bruce Pearl. He would know. So that's one. So Bruce is stepping down. So, all right, Shane, this is one of my favorite times of year and one of my favorite events, and I'll be watching every minute I can. I'm glad it's going to be an open day weekend, the Ryder Cup. You know, the Ryder Cup's been such a big thing. I've covered 5 or 6 of them and loved it. Keegan Bradley's got his team. He's got 6 captain picks, and they're playing a golf course I know of and have played it, and it's quite a different kind of golf course. It's a really good golf course, tough, but not necessarily tough. And they're gonna, and they're gonna be at Bethpage Black, which is a famous public golf course. So Keegan Bradley did not pick himself, which I think it might have been a mistake. I don't know. But Duke Donald's the captain for the Europeans, I'm sorry. And his captain picks, by the way, were Colin Malakara, Cameron Young, Sam Burns, Ben Griffin, Patrick Cantley, and Justin Thomas. And, of course, the people they joined Scotty Scheffler, J.J. Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Harris English, Bryson DeChambeau on our side this time, and Russell Henley. Your thoughts about it? How much will you watch it, and how much do you love it?
I'll watch some of it, but this is probably the best weekend of college football that we're going to have all year. So I'll be flipping around.
Well, it's not just Saturday. The thing is all week.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, I'll watch a lot of it. I don't know if I like our chances because I think the European team on paper is better than us. But it should be a lot of fun there in New York.
It should be. You're watching. I'm going to flip around. We got some good games this weekend.
Outstanding games.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. As we obviously know, Alabama. They're not. By the way, the Alabama game is not game day. That caused a little bit of a, Penn State, Oregon is going to be game day. Alabama, Georgia are going to are playing and not going to be unusual. So your thoughts about that, and also who do you like, Alabama versus Georgia?
Well, I've never been one to even watch game day. I think the only time I've watched it in several years was Corso's last show. That just Alabama, Georgia. I think it's at Georgia. I think it'll be a very close game. I think Georgia will squeak it out probably.
Are you kind of telling me that Georgia's not as good as we thought, or?
No, I think they're very good. I think Alabama's good. I think Alabama just had an off day against Florida State. I think Alabama and Georgia are very, very good. I think Georgia, I don't know who else is on their schedule. I don't have it in front of me. But I think Alabama's going to beat LSU.
Really?
I think Ole Miss is going to beat LSU Saturday.
Well, you could be right. I'm not sure about LSU just yet. But Brian Kelly seems to think he's got a good team. We'll see. His defense isn't that good. We'll see. Before we take a little break here and bring in our buddy Steve Russell, let's talk about the Derby for the Florida coach. Don't know what you've been hearing, what you think. I've got a whole list of people. I heard today that money people have a massive amount of money ready to throw at the one or two candidates they want, and it's staggering. And money's not going to be an issue for that. The question is who's available. And as my source told me last week, a very famous former athletic director said, it's all about them being movable. They got to want to move as well. So it was out there. If you're going to handpick somebody, I know you picked Lane Kiffin. But if you couldn't get Lane Kiffin, I just saw part of the feature. A very good series that got going on Kiffin, his life in Oxford, which starting, I think, is next week. If you couldn't get Kiffin, who else do you want?
Well, I think that's the one you got to do everything you can because he's to me, it's the easiest no-brainer pick I think they've probably had here since Steve Spurrier. But if you can't get him, because it's going to come down to he won't just continue with his cush job in Oxford, or does he want to challenge himself and have an opportunity with a bigger brand to compete for titles? That's what it's going to come down to. I would say if not him, I mean, it's the same. It's Eli Drinkwitz and Dabo Sweeney, and I don't know. None of those excite me. I think this is the most important hire that we've probably ever had since Steve Spurrier.
Yeah, I never admired, but yeah.
Well, we'd been winning, and we just had a few down years when Zook. It's been so damn long.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember what those days were like.
Yeah.
But I think to me, it's the easiest freaking fix in the world. But that's just me. That's just my opinion.
Well, yours counts. Let me ask you a name. I won't read your list off now. I'll go wait for a minute. But out of curiosity, how good was the defense on what happened on Saturday night to you?
I thought the defense was good. As good as they could play. I'm still not sold. Because I will look at our defense. I'm like, why are they not doing this to us? Because we played so much man coverage. I could not believe that Shannon Dawson never called it a down the field throw, because you're probably going to get pass interference. You're either going to get pass interference or you're going to catch it, or the ball hits the ground. The worst thing that can happen is you throw an interception. It's just as good as a punt. I'm proud of our defense, but when I watch them, I'm like, how are we doing this? Because I see places that you can really attack it. And I think there's one guy that's going to do that later in the year. There's probably going to be a guy doing it in a couple of weeks, because I still think Sarkisian's phenomenal for calling plays.
You got to prove that to me.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I've seen you. He hasn't impressed me.
Well, buddy, he's been in the Final Four the last 2 years.
I don't care what he's been. I just not. So what he's done this last year and a half has not impressed me. Let's see how the
Interesting.
team he puts out there.
So
Anyway,
you wouldn't want him as your coach?
no.
Jeez.
Well, I don't want him as a coach. I think he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong, but there are others out there is good. And well, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But according to the money people, there's 2 or 3 they like a lot.
Yeah, they like Eli Drinkwitz, they like Marcus Freeman, and they like Lane.
There's another one in there too, and they're prepared to make him a huge offer. I think.
Urban, but you're going to get him for 2 or 3 years. You got to, if you hire Urban, you better have a backup plan.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with hiring him and having him come in for 2 years and then find your guy to take a handoff, and let him help pick the next guy?
I don't have a problem with that, but I think that, like, I just think this is the easiest hire in the world.
Okay, I hear you. And I like Kiffin too. By the way, just what I wanted to ask you before we go to break. Ron Roberts, does he deserve some kind of consideration?
No.
I don't mean as a head coach, but wouldn't you like to keep him? Of course, if you get the head coach you want, you're not going to be able to do that.
Not necessarily. I'm going to have whoever if there is a new coach, he's going to bring in his own guy unless he has a relationship with him.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about our sponsors tonight. We appreciate very much the guy who's stuck with us for years. Can't tell you how much we appreciate Meldon Law, both as a law firm and as friends and as a Gator. If you want to have a really good attorney who also bleeds orange and blue, a guy who has been there all the time and will be there forever, then Meldon Law is your pick. Jeffrey Meldon is the ultimate Gator. He puts his money where his mouth is. He spent tons of money on the program. He's backing everything they do, including NIL. Matter of fact, he's behind the operation in basketball to help get 10,000 championship rings to be given away the week they play Merrimack, of all people, in the Dome, and they'll have the first 10,000 will get a copy, a prototype of the championship ring. That's the kind of stuff Jeffrey Meldon does. He also operates a good law firm. They've expanded. They got over 50 attorneys now. They got 5 locations to serve you, all the ones up here in North Central Florida, plus South Florida now. Check them out if you need them. Meldon Law, they won't back down. I think it might be time to bring this guy in as we get our laundry list now and start talking about, well, who is it going to be? Who's it going to be? And I'm Franz Beard standing by as well. Let's welcome Steve Russell. Steve, how you doing, man?
Buddy, doing well, and it's good to be here.
You're seeing far too much of Shane lately.
My buddy's good, and I hear, I've just listened to the conversation that you two had, and I get, where Shane's coming from, because I do think Kiffin is the easiest hire. If you're looking for a name, you're looking for a guy that is an offensive guy, and he'll bring a little flair back to the program. There's nobody that I don't think checks every box the way that he does from that perspective.
Yeah, I know Shane likes him. I like him too, but there's something eating me about him, and that is he reminds me of a guy who's pretty set in life right now, where he wants to be. I know Shane says he's hireable. He'll take the money. Now,
I don't even think it has anything to do with the money, buddy. I think it comes down to the great coaches have egos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He has done a phenomenal job at Ole Miss, made them extremely relevant. But the brands, there's no freaking comparison. There's none. You can have all the damn Ole Miss people say, there's no way he's going to do this. He loves Oxford. He does. I love Oxford. But the Gatorhead and the script Ole Miss, there is no damn comparison when it comes to football. Zero. Because of the recruiting base and what he can do here compared to what he can do there. That's just my 2 cents.
I hear you. I know you know the programs, both programs, and I value your opinion. There's just something in my craw, and I'm not saying I know anything. I don't. That tells me, and after I've seen the clips on this show coming up, and I recommend we all look at it. I think it's on next week, and see
yes.
One they're putting. And he sounds like a different man. He says he's a different man.
He is
He's not
different.
motivated by the same things he used to be. I don't know, Shane. I'm sure you have many opportunities to go places and do things, and something wasn't right. I'm sure probably Steve, who's had opportunities to go and said, you know what, this sounds great, but this is not for me. It's not the money. It's just the fact that it doesn't seem like it's the time in life or the place to go. And it sounds to me like that's what I'm hearing from Lane Kiffin. That's just my personal opinion.
And I respect that, and I don't disagree with you. But and again, we're talking about who I would want to hire, and like Steve says, who checks all the boxes. Does that mean we're going to hire him? No. But if he's not the top guy on your list, there's a problem. Huge problem, because he makes you instantly credible to be relevant next year. Doesn't matter if the whole damn team leaves and goes in the transfer portal. Players will play for him. He will find them, and he will have a quarterback, and they will put up numbers. Those are the facts. Now, like I said, if he wants to stay in Oxford and make $9-10 million and win 9 to 10 games, maybe make the playoffs, maybe not, great town to live in, no stress, all for it. I get that. But I know how these damn coaches think.
I know what you're saying, and I've been around coaches all my life. I'm not the son of one like you are, so I don't know that. But my point is, Steve, I hear a different voice, and I have been around people like that. And they're different. They change. Something's changed about Lane Kiffin, I do believe. And I'll see. We'll have this discussion. Let's bring Franz in here too and have this, Franz. Good evening to Franz Beard from Gator Bait, who's he's got some news tonight too on the situation at Florida. How you doing, Franz?
Another day in paradise.
Isn't it that though?
DJ's in a boot, and word from some insiders is that Tramel Jones is going to be the quarterback against Texas, which I'm sure Shane would be very, very happy to hear if that is indeed true.
Well, I mean, I have nothing against DJ, but I think Tramel deserves an opportunity. I mean, he could be a spark. He may struggle too. I try to support all these guys, but as a coach, if something's not, if somebody's struggling, how many right tackles have we played, Franz?
Too many.
Okay, because they're struggling.
We have.
So if your quarterback's struggling,
4 guards that can't, and we only need 2. We're playing 3 right tackles, and we only need 1. And we've got a center and a left tackle who are playing hard as they can, and they're overwhelmed.
Yeah. Well, like, the way I think is different than obviously what some people think or Coach Napier does. But, I experienced this first-round draft pick, so to speak, highly paid player that may struggle early. And you can feel it among the other players that we got to play this kid, but we have no chance to win the game. And so a lot of times those NFL teams, they'll put somebody else back in there. And this is not directed at DJ. This could be going on at Texas, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they should play somebody else at quarterback. I don't know. We're not very good on offense right now, so something needs to be tweaked.
All right, so back to the subject at hand, and I interrupted Steve Russell in his conversation to bring in Franz. I just want to throw some names out here. I'm not saying this is an official list, just of people that we've all heard. There's a lot more, and see if anybody rings your chimes here. I mean, I'm already list off, and I'm not endorsing any of these or saying one's better than the other. We're going to leave Lane Kiffin out. I think we'd all take Lane Kiffin tomorrow probably, but let's say if it didn't get Lane Kiffin. Let's throw these names out, okay? And again, I don't like them all, but I'm going to throw them out, all right? Eli Drinkwitz, Dan Lanning, Kurt Signetti, John Gruden, Urban Meyer. Anybody ring your chimes there, Steve?
Signetti's done a great job at Indiana. A little long in the tooth,
60, 64.
Yep. So, now look, you can coach to your 70, 75 nowadays if you keep yourself in shape, but I think that's not going to help his cause. Look, Urban was terrific here. His record speaks for itself, but I think he would have to change, buddy. We all know some of the things that went on in that program outside of the winning of the football games that it can't happen now, would not happen now. Players are not going to go into a pit like they used to. Franz, you remember that, right?
Yeah.
That ain't happening now. There's no chance that happens now. So he would have to adjust to today's player, but from an X's and O's standpoint, I think it'd be a great hire. And hopefully he learned his lesson, in Jacksonville, because he tried doing some of the same things to pro players and that didn't work. But, I've always thought Urban was terrific here, despite the way he left. But I don't know that he would be my first hire. I wouldn't mind the hire, buddy. But, Marcus Freeman, I think, is a heck of a coach. But would he, here's the thing. Would he leave Notre Dame to come here? Would Dan Lanning leave the Nike money to come here?
No.
And here's the other thing. It's harder to win in this league. Why would you want to come here and coach in a pressure cooker league where you can be really good and finish in 8th place? Why? When you can be out in the Big Ten and maybe go up against, 4 or 5 teams that are worth anything, and then you win your league and you go to the playoff. Why would you want to leave that?
Well, that's a good question. All that. The question, I didn't mention Jed Fish, Lance Leopold, and a few others. But what we're talking about now, is there any name? And I know that one of these names has been brought up before the money people, at least, and they are prepared to give, I can't think of a better word than a shitload of money for to get this guy, and also to get a shitload of money for the NIL. They're going to do it. I know for sure.
And I know the guy you're talking about. And
they're going to make him say no.
And that, but I don't know. I think you're right. I think they are prepared to shell out that money, buddy. But is he the top guy? That's what I'm not sure of, right? Because if the job, or when the job becomes open, all of a sudden other candidates sort of, appear, and agents start, doing their deal. Did a little research, and you guys have been around a long time. Help me with this. I believe the hires that Florida has made in football, I believe the following people were hired after winning conference championships. Doug Dickey, right? Won at Tennessee, right? Charlie Pell won at Clemson, right? Steve Spurrier won at Duke, and then Urban.
Right.
Those are the 4 coaches I could think of that came to Florida after winning a conference championship somewhere else. Is there another one, Franz?
Billy Napier.
Okay. Wait, I'm besides Billy. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Besides Billy. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it. So the pedigree of who Florida's hired, I mean, think about it. They've not really hired a big name coach. Coach Spurrier was not a big name coach when he was hired. Urban Meyer wasn't a big name coach when he was hired. They worked out. So will Florida go down that road this time and hire a name, or will they go and get, somebody that's won the Sun Belt, or somebody that's won the, I don't know. We'll just see.
I don't think that Florida will go for a guy as a Group 5 coach. I just can't see them do it. They've had enough of that. I think the big money is out there. I think they'll go for a name. The problem is, be careful about going for the hot guy too, because the hot guy doesn't always work out. You remember a guy named Will Muschamp, who was the hottest assistant, Mac Brown's assistant coach and head coach in waiting, and everybody wanted to hire him, and Florida got him, and how'd that turn out? So, and certainly not McElwain, he was never that. But I don't know. I don't know there is one guy fits everybody. I know Shane wants to his guy, and I do too. I'd like to see him come to Florida, but I'm saying if I'm sitting there in that control room, I'm saying, what have I got? Who have I got? And who can I hire? Again, I talked to a very, very famous former athletic director recently, and he stressed to me, you got to understand, it's not easy to move people. Some people, and I give you this again, don't want to leave where they are. They like what they're doing. They like the progress they're making, the program they're building, and they're not movable. That's what I'm talking about. There are those people.
Yeah, there are people that they're comfortable where they are. They don't have the stress. This job is very stressful here.
That's exactly right.
Right. So it has to take a unique person who has an enormous ego that doesn't give a damn about what people say, and they're going to do it their way. So we'll see who that will be.
Yeah, it's going to be really fascinating because, like you said, and I don't think Scott Strickland gets to make this hire. I think the money guys make it. They say.
I don't. I think you're right on that, buddy. I think Steve's right also when he says you can be at Oregon and maybe play Penn State this year and then Ohio State in the championship game, and that's it. And then, of course, Nike's giving him an $80 million buyout.
Yep.
And I think Dan Lanning's a terrific coach, but I don't think he's worth an $80 million buyout.
I agree with that.
He ain't coming.
I can tell you, I know guys don't like hearing this, but John Gruden is going to have a say in what happens here, whether people like it or not. He's going to. And there's couple of reasons why. He's an instant name. Other than Lane, he may be the only home run hire out there. And he's a home run hire simply because of that name recognition. Kids want to play in the league. John Gruden coached a Super Bowl. I mean, hell, he won a Super Bowl with what? Was it Trent Dilfer or Brad Johnson at quarterback? I mean, my gosh, Brad Johnson couldn't have backed up Shane. And I mean, Shane was a hell of a college quarterback, so he wouldn't have played anyway, but he couldn't have backed up Shane. And that's the name. I've talked to enough boosters who tell me that they want Lane. And I say, who's next? Say Lane says, look, I'm happy here in Oxford, you know. I've got a job I essentially can't get fired from as long as I'm winning 8-9 ball games a year.
Mm-hmm.
Could he say that? Yeah, he could. He could. So what if he does? Who's next? Who is the next home run hire? Eli, I think, is be a great coach, but Eli's not a home run hire. Kurt Cignetti is was coaching college football back when most of these kids' dads were still in college. Okay, he's like a grandfather. You look at who's out there. Who's out there? Rhett Lashley is 1-2 has lost 2 ball games at SMU, and I can't see that. He's not a home run hire. He's not going to win the ACC this year. Maybe the only other home run hire would be Dabo, and Dabo's having a bad year.
I mean, I don't even think Dabo's a home run hire anymore. But anyway, let me just get to a subject real quick, and I want to know if I'm crazy or not. I hear what you're saying about John Gruden. That just doesn't fit this.
I don't know how that would be even possible.
It's like Sesame Street. Which one of these is not like the other? And the only way I can see it, Shane, is that if one of the big money guys, 2 or 3 big guys, okay, I'm in, but you got to give John Gruden an interview. Okay, that's the only way.
You can give him an interview, but first of all, nobody on this freaking team is going to be able to call a play.
I'm with you on all that.
And then they've never look. I have nothing against John Gruden, but he has not coached in a while, and people want to sit here and what does he want? Okay, he won a Super Bowl, but that's about it. his record ain't great. I just if he was such a home run hire in most people's minds, he wouldn't be doing his fired coaches association little videos all the time, right? I just don't. That to me is just I don't know how that would even be possible.
The other thing, do these kids even know who John Gruden is?
Probably not. Well, probably because he does all the barstool stuff.
But and then how will he relate now to today's college athlete? We don't know. I mean, Bill Belichick, give the man time, but that hasn't been a slam dunk early on here. They've struggled, right? Yeah. So again, Gruden and Belichick have something in common.
It has to be an explosive offensive guy, or we're back to square one.
Right.
And the West Coast offense that Gruden runs is about what Billy runs now. It's a lot of short passing game. I mean, Franz, you may know. I mean, you obviously know a lot. You got a lot of scoop, but let me talk to them. Can I talk to them? Can you set me up a meeting with the money guys then?
I'm just giving you guys feedback that I've gotten.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just saying. I just think that's crazy.
Let me put it this way: I want Lane Kiffin here.
Right. It's a no-brainer.
I was at John Reeves's funeral, and Lane and I sat and talked for 90 minutes. I'm all in on Lane, but again, I just think I'm like Buddy. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to lead.
Which is fine, but if that doesn't work out, we need to go Eli Drinkwitz, or hell, you might as well hire Kerwin, because I know we're going to score points.
I think the other way around. Excuse me. I think you go get your guy now that isn't Lane Kiffin right now, and you start working on him first to see if, in fact, he's movable, and then you come back if he isn't, because you got to have that guy. If you don't get, if
you can't get Lane, you might as well go do everything you possibly can to get Urban.
They might. Who knows? I'd hate to see it for Urban. I don't want to see him coach again. But that's just me.
Let me throw one thing out real quick, buddy, about Drinkwitz. Sure. I think he'd be a good hire, and I'll tell you why. He's won at Missouri. That's hard to do. Hard to do. Okay, and they run an exciting offense. Pribula, who didn't do much at Penn State, all of a sudden is a pretty darn good quarterback for him. They developed Luther Burden, who's in the NFL now, and he has a little swagger to him. Right. And I think he's not, remember him and Mullen had that feud, right?
So on the
he's
field,
got a little, something about him. So I don't think if you're not going to get the people we talked about, I think that's a good place to go.
Averaging 554 yards and 46 points a game so far.
There you go.
I tell you what he did was impressive. Step down from being a play caller. He realized he wasn't the best one, and he stepped away from it. And like I said today to somebody who knows the situation really well and knows Billy, that's going to do him in. He thinks he can call plays at a level of the great ones, Steve Spurrier, whatever. And he's not a good play caller. He's an okay play caller. I don't understand his sequencing. I'm not sure I understand why some of the things happen, but Shane tells me he has no problem with his offense.
No. I look, it still comes back to execution. Are all his play calls great? No,
I know.
He called a great reverse the other night, buddy, but we didn't block it because the damn lineman didn't get out, and we lost 2 yards. I'm sick of talking about play calling. It's over. Nothing's going to change. I just, like I said, there's no reason to even discuss it. Billy is calling the plays. Either he continues calling them and gets better and we win a bunch of games and he continues to be our coach, or he keeps calling them, we don't win games, he gets fired. It's that simple. There's no reason for people to keep bitching about it for the last 4 years. It is what it is, right?
Well, that's it, and that's what's going to happen to him. He's going to go down with it.
Okay, well then that's why we'll have a new coach.
Yeah, and I agree. All right, so guys, in the remaining couple of minutes we have here, thank you all for being on. Appreciate it. I know I've kept you a little bit long. A big story kind of today happened, and we hadn't even mentioned it, and that's the 3 regular SEC opponents that you're going to have on the regular schedule. I don't know if you've seen the list or not. It comes out tomorrow. But here it is quickly. Alabama has Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee.
No.
Arkansas's got Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. Auburn's got Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi State. Florida gets Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Georgia gets Auburn, Florida, South Carolina. Kentucky, Mississippi State, Missouri, and Vanderbilt. LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. No Alabama, by the way. Alabama, LSU is a dead horse. Mississippi State, Auburn, Kentucky, Ole Miss. Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, South Carolina. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Texas A&M. Ole Miss, LSU, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. No, not necessarily a cherry right there. South Carolina has Florida, Georgia, Missouri. Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Vanderbilt. Texas has Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Texas A&M has LSU, Oklahoma State, Texas, and Vanderbilt. Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. Did you hear anything in there? Now, what do you think of those three permanent? It's every 4 years, so you'll eventually play the other teams. I think it's too bad Florida and Auburn can't play, but that's not going to happen. Is that a fair schedule? Who wants to go?
The one Chris Lowe has is that Florida will have South Carolina, Georgia, and Kentucky.
Kentucky, right.
And that's one that Chris Lowe has on there. He's got his list differs a little bit from that one, buddy. I'm not disputing the one that you have.
I don't know anything either, but I have heard that. But I mean, please, Kentucky versus Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, he's got. Here's what Chris Lowe had. I've got it up here. He's got Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, LSU, Auburn, Georgia, Alabama, Vandy, Georgia, Auburn, Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky, South Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Boy, they get screwed. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Alabama, Vandy, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Texas, Aggies, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Aggies, Texas, LSU, Missouri, and Vandy, Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Auburn. And, either one of them, I got to believe that I'm looking at the one Chris Lowe has, and I'm saying Tennessee's not on there. There's something, Florida's either got to play Tennessee or LSU. One of the two.
Let me get Shane out of here. I've got kept you way too long. Shane, tomorrow morning on your show, let you go. We're going to be off here in a couple of minutes. Good stuff. Thank you. Hope you're right about Kiffin. And
again, that's just my opinion.
Okay, that's what we love.
They want to think.
We love having your opinion.
Yeah, my opinion is he would be lighting up the scoreboard with Steve Russell at quarterback.
I wouldn't go that far, buddy, but thank you for that.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
See, talk to you in the morning.
Thanks.
Matthews. Guys, we got a couple minutes to go here. Franz is basketball today. Jump in, see what you told us, and let's see what you got to say. We talked to Steve.
Well, Todd says we're big, we're very, very fast. He likes Tommy Hawk on the wings, and he likes having Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee as his two guards. And let's face it, if you look at those two guys, they both averaged between the two of them averaged 11 assists a game, which is more assists per game than Walter, Elijah Martin, and Will Richard averaged combined. So you're getting guys that know how to move the ball. He says that Boogie Fland is probably the best on-the-ball defender that they've had since he's been here, which goes a long way when you consider that Will Richard will make the NBA because he's such a good on-the-ball defender. He really likes his ball club. He says the four big guys are good. Alex Condon is looking up there, and we talked to him, and my gosh, the kid's got muscles in places that he didn't even have places last year. Tommy Hawk looks like he's grown an inch, says he's comfortable on the wings, and Todd likes his ball club. Says, schedule's tougher. It's going to take an adjustment because now you're the hunted, not the hunter. But I think the guys are embracing this idea of, okay, now everybody's chasing us. Now it's a storm the court game if you beat the Gators.
Okay. All right. Let's see what our esteemed host of. What's the name of the show, by the way, Steve?
Sports Scene.
Okay. I love listening to it. What are you hearing? What do you think of the basketball program? It's not true they're a basketball school, but boy, there's a lot of excitement about it.
Should be. I mean, they've got Franz hit the nail on the head. They've got talent, and true, everybody's going to be after him, but I think they kind of embrace that. They look forward to the challenge. I think Golden's the right guy for that, as long as they don't get hurt, and as long as look, I don't care if they play the worst team in basketball. When you're the champion, everybody guns for you. They're going to have to understand that every night they're going to be the hunted team. But I think they do understand that. And I think they are going to start a clean slate here. Last year was last year. You got some new people, some leftover guys. I think this is going to be a really good basketball team and a fun basketball team to watch.
All right, why don't we start with the new guys? We talked about some. Give us somebody we have not talked about. The final minute of Franz, the new guys coming in.
About basketball?
Yeah.
A guy named Alex Lloyd, and he is a skinny guy that's got to put on some muscle. Played at Fort Lauderdale, Westminster last year, but he is an absolute knockdown shooter. He is an assassin. He's like Irby Klabjar, who tells me that his shot's better and he's comfortable and he's not scared to miss a shot now. He says he's ready to go in there and let him fire. If they got those two guys coming off the bench, I'm telling you, you're not going to have to worry about the scoring. They'll get their points.
Yeah.
I'm interested in Boogie Fland.
Yeah,
we saw what he did, last year.
Yeah.
How does he fit in? But I think he gives Florida a little different dimension in terms of his game to complement, the other guys that Franz has talked about. I just think it's going to be a unique team to watch, just the subtle changes from a year ago, because they got to flush that. The guys that are on there now, last year was last year, new challenge. I think they're going to be just fine, though, in doing that.
The question for me is, let me throw one
wrap
question.
it up real quick, Franz. Go ahead.
The question for me is going to be the defense. Last year
Yes.
they were as good defensively. That I think, for all the talk about Houston, I think Florida was a better defensive team than Houston. Houston was able to slow the ball down a lot on offense and so forth like that, which made their stats better, but they were good. I think Florida was better. The question is going to be defense. Can they defend like last year?
Guys, thank you. Real quick, Steve, who you got coming on the show this week?
Oh, gosh. We're going to talk a little NFL. We're going to get some guys from Pro Football Focus on. Chris Doring is going to come on and obviously talk about, the Florida situation. Kelly Ray Finley is going to come on and talk about her women's basketball team. That's just off the top of my head. We've got some others coming on too. And we're going to take a look tomorrow on Sports Scene at noon. Look, I've been accused of being an apologist and not wanting coaches fired, and I don't. I mean, they work hard at what they do. But I'm going to run down tomorrow what people are forgetting here about the schedule Florida's facing here. And I don't care if you have the good Lord as the head coach here. This is a difficult year because of it.
Good job. Check it out, WRF Steve. Good to have you back, Franz. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't forget to read Franz Beard and Gator Bait, the best publication around these parts. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Good night. I want to tell you folks about our sponsors, Titan MRI and Imaging. Of course, it's now Titan MRI Imaging is they are known for their service, for customer service, something that you hardly get anymore from anywhere. They have 3 locations to serve you: 2 in Gainesville with Park Avenue and now the Millennium Center, 1 in Lake City serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. They offer the same great customer service, meaning you can schedule a night event if you need to, because you can't do it during the daytime. They can give your CAT scans or MRIs or whatever you need, and give them to you at night if you can't get there during the daytime. Lots of options. Large MRI machines for patient comfort. No ERs, no hospitals. Coming soon to Ocala also, to better serve Marion County surrounding area. Titan MRI. It's your choice. Thanks to our guest tonight, and thanks to you for listening and watching. And we appreciate always that. And it's going to be tomorrow night. Lauren Meadows will be on. He'll have some good stuff to talk about like he always does. So come and join him. Have a great night.